Hello there. If you have a Vauxhall Corsa D and you can't select reverse gear on the manual transmission, there may be a cheap, simple fix that you can do at home. Welcome to CarSpyTV. Okay, let's start by taking a moment to recap the basics. So as of now we're in neutral, and to select reverse gear we have to pull up this button and hold. We now have to move the gear stick as far as possible to the left, and you can see it won't go any further. That's all it will do, and then slide forwards, but that isn't reverse gear, that is first. So if we look at the pattern of the gears, we can see the problem. From neutral, which is here, the gear stick won't move left as far as this point here, which is what it needs to do to then slide forwards into reverse. It will only, from neutral, move as far left as this point here, and then up into first. And the reason this gear stick can't move far enough left is because this button is disconnected from a mechanism down here behind the gaiter. So we now need to grab a plastic prying tool, remove the gaiter and have a look at the mechanism underneath. So let's just pop the prying tool in here, like so, and give it a wiggle. Work our way around a little bit. You could do this with a screwdriver, but that's more likely to damage the plastic trim. So it's worth investing in a prying tool. And there we are. And now we can just pull the gaiter up like so. And it's out of the way. Now the gaiter is out the way, we can have a good look down there and see what's happening. This is rather interesting actually. So when we move the gear stick to the left, it stops there because this piece of white plastic is blocked by the black plastic adjacent. It cannot go any further. However, as we've established, the gear stick does need to move further to the left in order to select reverse gear. So what typically happens when everything's working fine is that when you pull this button here, that slightly lifts this piece of plastic, which I'll do manually this time. See that? And that is just enough to let it slide over the top of the black plastic, and then you can move it forwards and select reverse. Now, the reason the button isn't lifting up that white piece of plastic to let the gear stick move all the way to the left is because it's disconnected. Now this is the bottom of the button, and this is the top of the white piece of plastic, and as we can see, they are disconnected. So that means when we operate the button, it moves up as it should, but that doesn't lift the white plastic below. Now, for the purpose of this video, I separated those components myself, but if yours are separated, the more likely reason is that the bottom of the button has snapped. That seems to be a fairly common issue on this type of car. So, if we are dealing with a snapped button, what's the solution? Well, if it was my car, I'd simply replace the gear knob and gaiter, and that's a simple job that takes 2 minutes. Now to remove the gear knob and gaiter, we need to have a look under here. Specifically, we're looking for this white collar there at the end of my fingers. And what we need to do is pull that collar upwards as far as it will go and hold it there. Like so. And now, with a little bit of wiggling and a little bit of jiggery-pokery and a little bit of luck, the whole thing lifts off. Well, that was easy. Fitting the new gear knob and gaiter is slightly more difficult, but it still only takes a moment. Now I know this is obvious, but nonetheless, make sure first that the gearbox diagram is around the right way, and of course, make sure too that the white collar is all the way up, otherwise it ain't going to fit. Next, simply slide the whole lot onto the gear stick and wiggle it down. Now a little bit of force is required here, but you shouldn't need to go too mad. Make sure that's all the way down, and then, as we might expect, slide this collar all the way down too. There we are, and now we need to connect that to the bottom of the button. There we are, that's all working fine. So we can select reverse gear without any issues whatsoever. So all we need to do now is replace the gaiter, which doesn't require any tools. It just pops back into place like so. Now, if you can't select reverse gear in your Vauxhall Corsa D, there are, of course, many potential reasons. It may not be the problem we've talked about today, but nonetheless, it's something to bear in mind. Welcome to England, where if it isn't raining, it's about to. Never mind, we're getting fogged up in here now. And look, there's the Nissan Primera P12. I just cleaned that thing the other day, it's already covered in pollen. Oh well. Anyway, before you go, don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV. That makes it easier to find my other content. Can you also please do me a favour and click like on this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.